Hashira training Tanjiro with the scars and that backpack kind of a thing. Pretty good so far. Slow moving. Is the whole thing going to be like this? Maybe. Might not be like an epic battle scene or anything. So, landscape page, pencil eraser, hit pause if I go too fast. We're going to start with his eyes. So, sword coming up here. Body sort of turned this way and face more or less towards us. Maybe a slight 3/4 pose. So, center point here. Come up over to the right. Start with his eyelid. Spiky Demon Slayer eyelids. So, go. Curve it up and over. You can have angles to it. Doesn't have to be like a smooth curve. Demon Slayer tends to do that. Okay. So basically your bottom eyelid is like a little V here. Okay, so that's like the general shape for his eye. But what we got to do is like thicken up this and this a little bit, right? So this has like all spikes on it, right? So it goes like up this way, and then it goes around. And from these corners, they tend to add sort of, you know, little sort of extra lines kind of going down that way. Depends on if it's like a big close-up, you know, they could do more than me even. And the bottom would be like slightly thicker as well, but I'm just going to color this black. And I'll just thicken up this as well, just a little bit in the middle. It's just slightly thicker. Okay. Then his eye, so weirdly shaped, right? It goes like all these angles, sort of. It's not like a perfect circle. It has all these sort of shapes and stuff on it. Bum, 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 bum. And then he's got like sort of an angled pupil as well on the inside. So sometimes it's a diamond, sometimes it's got like angles. So go this way this time. Okay. And then he has those sort of spikes that come around. He has this sort of random kind of dark eye shape in there. And that can be colored black, and just for ease of drawing, I will color it black now. Right, so that's Tanjiro's eye. Around this, we have some like stress lines or sort of skin lines, you know, kind of eyelid lines, very light. Sort of small lines like this. And then his eyebrow, so he's surprised, right? So he's looking at the sharp sword, and his eyebrow is kind of like a little bit higher up, so it's like up here. He's not like aggressively frowning or anything. Right, so it starts there, and then we go up, across, and it gets thin as it goes down towards the edge of his face, right? And I'm going to color that black as well. Okay. And then we go over and do same on the other side pretty much. Demon Slayer eyes are not in proportion, right? So the distance between his two eyes is like less than an eye. It's probably like 3/4 of his eye. So like from the inside of here to say the edge of his pupil, right? So this space will be how far you want to go over to put the next eye. Because it's not like a full eye over. It's like 3/4 of his eye. So that and that are about the same as that and that. So that distance. So there to there is about the same as here to here, the edge of his pupil. And then we can just do that again. Now this eye, you can get away with doing this one like a little bit smaller because his head is like 3/4. Slightly, just a little bit smaller if you want. Don't have to be. It'll still work if you don't. So then a V sort of shape for his bottom eyelid, and then we thicken these up again, Now remember, if I go too fast, hit pause. So we'll just add the little spikes, and then we will curve it over like that, and I'll add those little hairy bits for the eyelashes there, and then we color in black. And I'll thicken this one up a little bit in the middle, just make it slightly darker in the middle than the outside edges. A bit spiky on the end as well. And then we'll do that iris shape. Okay. And then we got the eye inside, shaped kind of like a diamond or something. And then he has those zigzag, spiky shapes coming around that eye then. And I'll just color black in there, just like the other side. So, eyelid lines then, carving around the eye, just like that. Maybe a little extra one just there. And then underneath here. And then his eyebrow again, surprised look, so sort of high up, curving over, square sort of end, and then skinnier down towards the back of that eyebrow. And I'll just go black inside. His eyebrow and his nose are kind of connected nearly. So this just, his nose just starts to go down that way. And I have to sneeze. Oh God. Oh no, it's gone. Oh, I lost it. Oh. Okay, his nose curves down there. And what Demon Slayer tends to do is make this like a little bit shadowy just here inside. It's like a thicker sort of line a little bit. And his nostril up there. And then some hatching on the bridge of his nose, like that. So he's open mouthed, he's like surprised. He's like, wow, this sword is so cool. So he curves up and over, down the back. Very small mouth in Demon Slayer. And then this comes underneath. So is the other side. And we can just see some teeth. And like the back of his tongue sort of there. And then they have that triangle shadow on the chin. Like so. So his chin, kind of here. And we have slightly different face shapes. You could go the same, so like you could go like jawbone either side and up. But it's a little bit different on this side. It's kind of rounder because he's looking towards the sword. So it's kind of like an optical illusion sort of thing. So say if you were doing a normal jawline. So that's pretty much normal on this side. So it just goes towards the edge of his eye, right underneath it, across from the mouth. That's where you want to be. So like across from the mouth, underneath the corner of his eye. Because that's where it kind of changes its direction and goes up for the side of the face. So you got the jawbone sort of in line with the edge of his eye and across from his mouth. See that? Right. You could do this on this side if you wanted, but in the picture I'm drawing from, we got like more of a cheek and then the side of his head. Slightly different, okay? So we'll go diagonal and then it curves around his cheek. So it's like a rounder cheek line. No jawbone really. It's like the side of his face. So his head is like starting to turn that way a little bit. It's good to learn to even that you can even do this in a drawing. That's, you know, and it still works because it gives that little optical illusion that his head is like not quite square. Right, and then this comes out on this side for his eyebrow, like his brow, the skin of his brow there. And his head is pretty round, so it like keeps going up this way. And this will meet like his hair and go all the way down to the other side, right? And he has kind of like a hair, spiky hair situation when we get up here. So it goes like up, right? And then you start adding these sort of V's for his hairline, right? It's like a zigzag sort of thing. And like here's where we meet sort of fringe, I guess, sort of like his long piece of hair that comes down onto his face, like just beside his eye. Right, and then we got like a spike, and then another spike, right? And then this comes around, so it goes like, well, goes diagonal in, back into sort of there. And there's all these sort of pink hairlines and stuff on this, but we'll just finish off the face and then do the hair, because he's got that scar on his face, right? It's this sort of spiky thing. Now I've seen this done like lots of different ways. You don't have to do it exactly like the way I'm doing it. Even the animators in the show will draw it differently depending on what's happening or how he's moving and stuff. You know. Every time I've drawn it, it's kind of slightly different. So. And then we've bits inside here. A section cut out there. So we can see his ear just in behind this hair spike, and his earring sort of sitting on his hair like this, just a black line, and then sort of dangling a rectangle. With those lines on the decorative lines. And the land and the sun and the beams hitting the ground. Radial pattern. And like his ear lines and stuff here as well. So rest of his hair, right? So as I said, like each of these will be a spike, right? So this kind of comes out there and then goes in behind his ear. And then the next one. Then another one. Now this one will go like into, well, this one is actually floating by itself. I was nearly going to say it goes into there, but it doesn't. And there's another one. So that one kind of stops there. And then we have another one which goes down to that spike. And then the next one like so. And then the next one there. And then these little ones that stick out here. Boom, boom, boom. And then a couple on their own floating sort of out here. And there's some that come out from behind his neck, but we'll do those after we do his neck. And his ear. Curving down there. He's got that earring, but like some of it sort of goes in behind his clothing in this one. So we just sort of stop it there. And then we can just see some of that sun with some light beams like that. And then some inner ear lines. So now there is a different color in Tanjiro's hair, and you kind of have to draw it in, so to make sure you know where to color and stuff. So we'll go like a border on the hair. It's like a pink border. Right, so inside all these spaces will be a different color. It's like a lighter red or pink color. And you're just like going around the edges. Bit of a sort of a lightning kind of line in here then. Like that. Right, so move down now and do some body. So neck muscle comes down that way. On this side, we can only see a tiny bit of it over there, but we see like a neck muscle line like that. And then he has this thing tied around his chest, right? So the center line for his chest will be sort of here, right? So say that's like the center of his chest. And his neck muscle goes into that direction. Right? Your neck muscles there always go to the middle of your chest. And then there's this tied thing. It's like a bow sort of tied here. Okay, and these kind of go, they're sitting on his shoulders, right? So his shoulder sort of goes down here. So this is like the outside of the shoulder there. And we have another chest muscle just curving down that way. So then this is like a big backpack or a bag that kind of like just bumps its way around to the back of his, oh, there's more hair. Missed that. Forgot. More hair just here. And this like bumps in behind then. There. And then the outer edge that way. And this will have like, you know, fabric folding lines. So like just to make it look like it's all going back into there. So the other side goes up and over his shoulder here. Now this one's holding the weapon. So kind of like this arm is like up right against the, what you would call the camera. But like this is like his shoulder muscle here. And you might have like some of his collarbone or something just there. the top of this backpack goes up this way and kind of like swings around there, and then this will bump back, and it kind of goes behind the sword, you know. So like he's holding the sword like roughly here. So like you're about maybe like a head width, like the width of his head out would bring you roughly nearly to the where that area for the sword would be, or even like the width of his eyes even would do it. So chest muscle, like, so your, say your like shoulder and your bicep are connected, right? So, and everything's foreshortened. That means everything looks kind of curved and stumpy. So like his chest just sort of comes down here. And his hand is kind of here, and it's like connected up to like his armpit and his rib cage and everything, right? So say like, so then the hand is just here. So the hand is like holding the sword here. So say if we placed the sword handle just like there. So we'll have like some knuckles just wrapped around it for them. And then each of these will be a finger. So we go around for each of these. Right, 4 of them. And the thumb comes out from behind here. So it goes like that. And then we can just see the index finger sort of wrapped around that sword then. And his thumbnail will be just in here. And then maybe we can see some fingernails on that. And then there's some knuckle lines. Right, so then the handle of the sword kind of bumps down that way. It's got fabric wrapped on it, so it's a traditional Japanese sword. And then we got to connect the hand up to this sort of rounded arm area, right? So everything's foreshortened. So when something comes into the foreground, that's what's happening, right? It's coming right towards us to the fore of the picture. His arm gets shorter, right? So normally an arm would be really long. It's probably like the length of his body here, but because it's foreshortened, it's like all squished, and it all looks like really round, right? So this is like the forearm. Okay, and you could have like a bicep muscle area there. And then this comes around. So it's like an optical illusion. It's a tricky enough thing to get right, but once you kind of understand it, it makes it easier. Like, you know, we got like his wrist sort of going that way. And he does have a scar here as well. I think in here is a bit of a shadow actually. So before moving on up with the rest of the sword, I'm just going to add some scars and textures to his fingers because he's like battle-hardened Tanjiro, right? So he's got all these crazy scars. He's got like a one-piece Luffy scar going on here. Kind of like an X thing. But it's like more, it's like overlapping and... And then he has all these like scratch marks on the fingers, like from holding a sword, you know, all these crack sort of things. And then the sword, right? So we finish the cap on the where the handle meets the blade first. And then there is like little diamonds because it's traditional Japanese katana. Like that, maybe some like texture just coming along here. Has an extra sort of brass section, I would say. It looks like brass, but it's like a different metal just here. And then our blade sort of curves. Like it's not like dead straight. You could, if you wanted, like go for a ruler. Where's my ruler? Sorry, I get. So we could go like dead straight, but it's kind of not. But I might curve it at the top a bit. Where are we going? We're going about there. It kind of curves out a little bit. So a good trick is like bend in your ruler as you go up. There you go. Right, so slight curve in it. And we do the same over here. And we're going to like go to like there. And I want it to slightly curve when I get in. So we'll go straight at first, and then I'm going to use my ruler to push in the pen gradually. Right, so it slightly gives it that curve. So I just used the ruler to push it in. See, so all I did was like start my line here, and then when I got to here, I started like pushing as I went up. A bit tricky maybe, but you could just freehand that if you wanted. And we'll go here as well. So we'll go straight at first. And then I will start to bend this in. Not bad. And then we'll just tidy up some of this stuff here. Tanjiro Hashira training. Hope it's helpful. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one. Bye.